Welcome to the Youth in Agri Talk Show, the show that is dedicated in making agriculture attractive, enticing, or sexy to the basic education students and develop their passion, interest, and excitement for agriculture. My name is Loise.
And I'm Matt. Through this show, we aim the youths to understand more about agricultural innovation and appreciate the importance of agriculture.
Today's episode is our first episode, and I'm really excited of what we have in store for our viewers. Are you excited too, Matt?
Yes, I am. In fact, what makes this premiere episode extra special is our extra special guest.
So true, Matt, as we only want nothing but the best for our viewers. For this episode, we will get to know more about SEARCA, who we are, and what we do.
Aside from that, we have 6 young viewers who will have the opportunity to ask questions to our special guests.
That's right. So let's not keep our viewers waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm applause to the director of SEARCA, Dr. Gregorio.
Good day to everyone. Hello, Matt. Hello, Loise. And hello to our viewers, our students and pupils from different schools. I'm also excited to be part of this first premiere show of Youth in Agri.
And we are excited to have you here too, sir. So,
Thank you.
As this is our premiere episode, let us start by sharing to our viewers, especially to our young audience, about SEARCA and how the youths can relate to what we do here.
Yeah, thank you for that question. SEARCA is Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture. Actually, this was established 26 years ago. And there are 3 things that we do here. One is grant scholarship to develop transformative leaders in agriculture for the next generation. At the same time, we are doing research relevant to the specific agricultural problems in the Philippines and Southeast Asia, and at the same time disseminate them to the relevant stakeholders, especially our farmers who will be benefiting from this research. We're also developing different education system related to graduate study in agriculture, natural resources, and all those things. At the same time, of course, SEARCA we have this 5-year plan, ATTAIN, which is accelerating transformation through agricultural innovation, in which we are involving really the youth, the women, and the seniors, especially in engaging the farmers, at the same time making them feel that they are really important in agriculture. And we are doing also making agriculture, as you mentioned, making agriculture enticing, making agriculture sexy we have the sharing at SEARCA. We call it sharing, SEARCA Hub for Agriculture and Rural Innovation for the next generation. One of it is we have an Agri Museum, and we have the Sharing Cafe, which is a Lego education cafe, where we are doing robotics. We are engaging the youth to be involved in robotics, especially on the theme of smart agriculture. So they do robotics, they do on farming, on tractors, conveyors, processing related to agriculture. So the youth, young professionals, even the parents are involved in doing these things. So robotics, we also sponsor contest about this. We are also sponsoring our national team going to the international competition on agriculture and robotics.
Wow, you really made agriculture sound exciting, Sir Glenn. The agri-robotics is interesting. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, actually, the agri-robotics is one of the most exciting part, because the kids are very much involved in these ones, and we are engaging it in at SEARCA. As I mentioned, we have this SEARCA Cafe where we have all the robots, and we are also even engaging the several schools now, going there, and we're training them how to playing to learn, and learning to play. So this is how we make agriculture sexy. So as I mentioned, we are sponsoring a lot of this to make them to connect the robots to agriculture, and that's why we are even having the agriculture friendly robots that we are sponsoring, going them to international competitions.
Sir Glenn, thanks so much for sharing that. So those sound really exciting. And it only goes to show that agriculture is not only about farming.
Yeah, agriculture is the whole value chains, and many, it's not only agriculture, engineering, we have business experts, we have the IT experts, cold chain, Internet of Things expert on this, even climate change experts. We are involving them to make really the whole value chain of agriculture, because agriculture involves the environment, involves the planet, involves profit, and involves a lot of technology to make really agriculture the front line of everything.
Climate change expert, sir, that sounds an interesting career. Can you tell us more about climate
Yeah,
change, sir?
climate change. We are all talking now about climate change. So what is climate change? It's different from weather change. Climate change is the change of the pattern of weather. So what happened is there's a change of pattern of our climate a long period of time. So before, farmers could plant at this stage or at this time of the year, but because of the climate change, there will be more typhoons during the dry season. There will be no water during wet season. So those are the changes that they are adapting. So what happened is the farmers have difficulty in producing food because they have more rain on unexpected times. It's not anymore predictable, unlike before. So that's the challenge. So the climate change experts are studying how to change the cropping pattern of the dairy farmers so that they could adapt to the changing situation. So we have to outsmart climate as an agriculturist or as a farmer.
Wow, I never thought that there are so many career opportunities in agriculture. Well, speaking of youths in agriculture, Sir Glenn, we have here some questions from our young viewers for you.
That's right. So let's have our first question from Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Calamba.
Hi, my name is Jason Sayas. I'm from Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Calamba, a kinder student. I always see farmers planting crops during rainy season. My question is, can farmers plant crops during hot season?
Very cute, very cute, sir. So we have a very interesting first question. She is a kinder student. Her name is JZ. So her question is, can farmers plant their crops during hot season?
Oh, very, very youthful question, especially for kindergarten. Actually, during hot season, that's the best time to plant crops, as long as you have water. Our problem is maybe you saw the farmers planting only in the rainy season because there's water. But you could really plant good crops during the dry season because we have less pests. As long as you have water, you plant, we have a technology now, we have the drip irrigation, we have good irrigation system, and we could put the right amount of water, less water, but the crop will grow very well and produce crops. So my answer, the quick answer for that, yes, as long as you have water.
Thank you for that detailed answer, Sir Glenn. As someone who's interested in agriculture, it's great to know that farmers can still plant crops during hot season with the right techniques and crop selection. I will keep that in mind as I continue to learn more about agriculture. And now for our next question, we have Chloe Badulis, a 4th grade student of Letran, Calamba.
Why farmers do crop rotation?
Very interesting question, sir. So to repeat the question, why do farmers practice crop rotation?
Yeah, thank you, Chloe, for that very interesting question. Why farmers are practicing crop rotation? Actually, what you mentioned is actually multiple cropping. Farmers could plant different crops in the same piece of land, but crop rotation is different from the other. It's type of multiple cropping because crop rotation is planting one crop and the next crop will be other crops like rice. They are not planting rice. They are planting rice. After rice, they plant onion. After onion, they plant maize or corn, or they plant other vegetable. Then back to rice again. So that's crop rotation. So they practice crop rotation because it has a lot of advantage. One is it will also very good for the soil, and some crops will produce good nutrients for the next crop to consume. So it is a very good practice because you will save a lot for fertilizer, and also for the disease. It's also control a lot of disease because the disease of the other crop will not continue to the other crop. And it's good for the soil, it's good for the plant, producing good yield, good for us. So that's a very good agricultural practices.
Thank you for that informative answer, Sir Glenn. By the way, can I just say that I am so impressed with our guest students. Your questions for Sir Glenn were very exciting.
I agree, Matt. Kids today are very smart, right? So, I had a chance to visit their campus in Calamba, Laguna, and I was really impressed. Aside from the verdant expanse, the campus gives you that royalty feels because of their castle-like towers, which were patterned after the El Escorial in Spain, the largest Renaissance building in the world.
Well, I have to agree with you with the royalty feels. Actually, I'm a Letran Calamba graduate. And, it's been a decade now since my last visit in the institution. So, Loise, if you ever happen to visit Letran again, please invite me.
Oh, of course, we'll surely keep that in mind. Okay, so apart from the amazing buildings, they also have a state-of-the-art high-flex classrooms and a virtual laboratory, which I got to experience during my visit there.
How about you, sir? Have you ever been to Letran Calamba?
No, not yet.
Anyway, going back to our discussion, we have another question from Riz Caitlin Evangelista, a 6th grade student.
We all know farming is a crucial industry here in the Philippines. So, may we ask, what are the different methods of planting?
Sir, her question is, what are the different methods of planting?
Oh, thank you for that question. Many are asking about what are different methods of planting. I have to be precise in my answer. Let's give example rice, because in every crops have different methods of planting. Rice are planted by transplanting a 21 or 14-day-old seedling. They have to grow it in the bed, and they have ordapog, and they will plant it 3 seedling in 1 hill. So this is transplanted rice. And the other one is they will just soak it for a few days or 3 days, then they will broadcast it. We call it direct seeding crops. Usually they do it for upland or dry method. So these are the two types of planting. If you go to other countries like Cambodia, it's interesting. They call it a parachute planting. So they have to separate the seedling with some soil, and they throw it this way, and they will just fall down in a different places. So there's an art of planting different kinds of rice. So for corn, there are different ways also. They could direct seeding on the ridge or on the hill, or they pre-germinate it, and after 14 days, they have to transplant in the different areas. So, and there are other methods. They use machine. Some are using a drum seeder. So there are different methods of that. Depends upon the crop, depends upon the condition of the soil, and depends upon the climatic condition. Because you could not do direct seeding if you have a expected rain anytime, because it will be flashing out.
Thank you, Sir Glenn. I originally thought that I will just be taken back to my younger years in the classroom or in the schoolyard, but I learned something new from you today. So let's just keep the ball rolling and have our next question. We have John Dominic Canato, a 6th grade student from Letran.
Why is hydroponic planting in demand now in the Philippines?
Yeah, okay. Hydroponics, because it's a sexy way of developing or in producing crops. So hydroponics means hydro from the words water. They grow crops in nutrient solution or water without soil. So this is a soilless way of planting crops. So people are starting to be amazed, especially the plantitos, the plantitas, because it's a new way of planting. You just put a styrofoam with nutrients there. You plant your lettuce or pechay there or kangkong, and it will grow and you will harvest it. So this is also, they call it urban agriculture or vertical farming. They use nutrients flowing around, and they use it even inside a container van or inside a warehouse where you have different lightings. Nutrients are there, so you could plant more in a small area because you have a multiple layer planting with light. So that's why it becomes sexy. That's why agriculture now is sexy, because you don't need to go to the field to plant. You could plant it inside your house technically, or inside a warehouse, and you could produce more, and you could control the insects, you could control the growth, and you could harvest at the same time. So that's hydroponics planting, and why it's popular, because it's a sexy way of planting.
Thank you, Sir Glenn. So I'm sure, like me, our viewers are delighted and enlightened by your answer. Right, Matt?
Yes, indeed. We learn something new every day. So, Sir Glenn, thank you again. So, shall we proceed to the next one? So, aside from Letran Calamba, we also have guest students from one of our farming school partners, the Dagatan Family Farm School.
But before we introduce our guest students for their questions, let me share some trivia first to our viewers. Did you know that Dagatan Family Farm School is the first family farm school in Asia, and soon after, several other farm schools in the country were established? Dagatan Family Farm School, or DFFS, offers junior high school and senior high school programs, and their curriculum is focused on agriculture. The farm is promoted as a family farm enterprise in which parents play an active role in managing the farms and are considered as primary educators of their children.
And in addition to that, the Dagatan Family Farm School is officially a partner school of SEARCA.
So now let's hear the first question from Daniel Bulahan, a student of the FFS.
What are tissue cultured seedlings?
Tissue culture, sir.
Okay, tissue cultured seedling. If you have the word tissue cultured, so you're culturing the tissue. So in short, tissue culture is propagating the plant, not asexually, but you are cloning the plants. So this is the one they call it cloning of plants. From the growing point of the plant, you will isolate that growing point tissue. From a differentiated cell, ginawa mo siyang undifferentiated, then gumawa siya ng callus para you multiply them. So from one tissue, more tissues, you could generate a lot of plants, maybe 10,000 plants from one tissue. So practically, you're cloning a plant. If you have a good variety like a banana, a good variety, you just get a tissue, then you could produce thousands of plantlets out of that. So that's a tissue culture. You're cloning a good plant so that they will be disease-free, and you could harvest them at the same time. So very uniform. Clone, they are like minions, so minion plants.
Wow, tissue cultured seedlings sounds like a great innovation for agriculture and horticulture. Well, I can see how they would be particularly useful for crops where consistency is important.
Yes.
Oh wow, I can't believe that we're now on our last question for this episode. Let's hear it from DFFS student Carl MJ Canyubas.
What is the difference between tissue cultured seedlings and GM plants?
Okay. So you are asking what is difference between tissue culture and GMO. So tissue culture derived plants and genetically modified plants or organism or living things. I'll try to relate. Tissue culture, as I mentioned, is just using the technology to multiply, to clone the plants in mass production. So there's no GMO over there. There's no genetic manipulation here. Both of them are biotechnology, but these tissue culture derived plants are not genetically modified because you are cloning. They are the same. Okay? The GMO is genetically modified plants. It means you are using, getting a gene from foreign or alien plant, or from corn, you put it in rice. That's why we have the golden rice. Putting the yellowness of corn to make the rice yellow. So that's a genetically modified plant. Or making rice ripen longer shelf life ability of any crop. So that's GMO. You're getting some genes, but for tissue culture is different. But I may say the GMO, they use the tissue culture technology to arrive for a GMO plant. So they move forward more, or three more steps. They use tissue culture because they have to culture the cell. They incorporate the new gene there through genetic engineering, and they culture it and they multiply it. So that's the relation between tissue culture and the genetically modified organism, or GMO.
Thank you very much, Sir Glenn. So for that enlightening discussion of what tissue culture and what GMO plants are. So today's episode is information packed with all the topics we covered, right, Matt?
Indeed, even I learned a lot in today's episode. Any parting message to all our viewers, Sir Glenn?
Okay, so for our viewers, for our students, make agriculture. You learn, if you know agriculture, you know everything about life. Everything, you will understand what you are eating. You will understand what's happening around the world. You will understand why there's food crisis. You understand why we are producing nutritious food, and you will understand why you're eating all this food. So that's why agriculture is exciting. I hope we have more episodes like this, so that they will understand all the details of all these questions. I hope I'll be there all the time, but I don't want to manipulate all the things. Maybe if you want to ask me, just visit us at SEARCA, visit our sharing cafe, visit our SEARCA hub for agriculture and rural innovation for the next generation. They call it the museum, so that you will understand more, to make agriculture, to appreciate agriculture, at the same time to learn more about agriculture and make it really a sexy one.
Thank you again, Sir Glenn. We hope that you and our viewers enjoyed our show. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for now, but there will be more, so please stay tuned, and we hope to see you again in our next episode. Once again, I am Loise.
And I'm Matt, wishing everyone a good evening.
See you again next time in the Youth in Agri Talk Show.
SEARCA is one of the first regional centers established by SEMIO, a treaty organization founded in 1965 to promote regional cooperation in education, science, and culture. SEMIO has 11 member countries that SEARCA is mandated to serve. The center's main mandate is to build capacities in agricultural and rural development. Since its establishment in 1966, SEARCA has sought to provide high-quality graduate education and training in agriculture to member countries, promote, undertake, and coordinate research related to the needs and problems in agriculture of the region, and disseminate the findings of agricultural research and experimentation. The complexities and uncertainties of the new normal conditions in Southeast Asia have compelled SEARCA to veer away from business-as-usual strategy towards accelerating transformation through agricultural innovation, or ATTAIN. From 2020 to 2025, SEARCA will strive to be a leading enabler and champion of excellence in agricultural and rural development in Southeast Asia. Its mission is to elevate the quality of life of agricultural families through sustainable livelihoods and access to modern networks and innovative markets. SEARCA also commits to contribute and allocate resources towards the achievement of of 5 SDGs. These priority goals directly align with the Center's mandate and priorities, with emphasis on wider and meaningful partnerships. SEARCA also touches 3 other SDGs, as it tries to achieve the 5 priority SDGs. There is a sharpened focus now on the contribution of agriculture to eradicating hunger and malnutrition, and to improving the standard of living of all in an economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable manner. The Center's direction and priorities in the next 5 years will address regional and national trends such as population growth, urban migration, and consumption behavior. To do all of this on one hand, SEARCA needs to organize its work around the evolving context of agriculture, rural development, and the state of farmers vis-a-vis global goals and priorities. On the other hand, SEARCA intends to transform farmers who believe that farming is limited to production into farmers who believe that farming is sustainable agribusiness. Through its 11th 5-year plan, SEARCA sees that it can contribute to accelerating systemic transformation by focusing its efforts on 5 innovations for transformational change. Policy innovation, institutional innovation, social innovation, technological innovation, and conceptual innovation. These innovations for transformational change will pave the way for developing platforms for better outputs and outcomes, bigger programs, products, and services, and smarter, more robust, agile, and context-relevant modes of delivery. To deliver distinct sustainable impacts, SEARCA has narrowed its focus to 7 priority areas. Agribusiness models for increased productivity and income, sustainable farming systems and natural resource management, food and nutrition security, transformational leadership for ARD, gender and youth engagement in ARD, enhanced ARD towards climate resilience, and eco-health and One Health applications to ARD. All these changes and shifts are expected to produce 5 major outcomes. Stakeholders embodying mindset transitions, enabling policies and regulatory frameworks supporting ARD at the local, national, regional, and international levels, wider access to innovative products and services, and business models for increased productivity and income, increased levels of investment in the agricultural and rural sector, and food and nutrition security from a range of choices, ensuring well-being in an evolving lifestyle. To articulate this bold new strategy, SEARCA has reorganized its 3 core programs. Education and collective learning leads the development of a new breed of agriculture leaders and professionals, embodying mindset transitions. Research and thought leadership leads evidence-based ARD interventions towards policy and regulatory frameworks that support ARD. Emerging Innovation for Growth, a new program under SEARCA's 11th 5-year plan, leads in providing farmers wider access to innovative products and services, as well as business models for increased productivity and income. With all these in place, SEARCA is confident that it can strategically deliver better, bigger, and smarter outcomes and impacts for its stakeholders in the region it calls home.